Good morning. How are you today, Kayla?
Good. Not too bad for a Wednesday.
Right? Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. I was
Yeah.
just at the boat and put the top up, and
Oh, you got it back?
yeah, I got it back yesterday. I just put it up this morning. I was trying to hurry so much to make it here by 10, and I got here at 10:01. I'm like, oh man, I'm a minute late.
Oh, you're fine. Alex and I jumped on this morning to kind of get me prepped and
Cool.
feeling a little comfortable of doing it so we could get started. And
Yeah, that's what you guys were talking about the other day, I think.
yeah.
Practicing a little bit.
Right. First time. So let's see here.
So
Guys are out.
you're at your bait shop?
I am.
You have live bait there?
I have worms right now. Typically I would carry shiners and minnows.
Uh-huh.
But because the hurricane took out the suppliers, tanks and all that kind of stuff. So,
That stinks.
yeah. So hopefully by next week, we're hoping to get some in. So I was down there in Old Town talking to her on Monday. So we're probably going to bring in, I'm going to probably go with a little bit bigger shiners this time, hoping we'll get those guys in there, get some large shiners.
So you guys are doing mostly freshwater fishing. You're on the Swanee. What river? Are you on a river or a lake or?
Yes, yeah. So right at the corner down here is the Swanee River. So
Cool.
we're kind of in what's called three rivers. There's the Swanee River, and then you have the Santa Fe and the Ishnatucky, and they feed into each other. And the Ishnatucky is the one that has the two really big main springs on it. So pretty much anywhere you go in that Ishnatucky, it's clear. Probably.
Yeah, I've been on the Santa Fe quite a few times at Ginny Springs.
Ginny, yep.
Yeah, we used to go there.
Girls Gone Wild.
That's what it's like now, but it didn't used to always be that way.
No. Yeah, us locals usually don't end up out there.
If you go there during the week, it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
The weekends might get a little rowdy sometimes.
Yeah, I said we haven't braved and took the kids up there yet.
Yeah, we took ours when they were a lot younger, and I mean we didn't really go. You just kind of stay to yourself. It's not that big a deal, you know what I mean? If you're not out trying to party it up, you're not going to see all those things,
Right. Yeah. See, we usually tube the Ishnatucky, and it's a 30-minute, 40-minute just kind of cruise, but it's protected because it's a state park, so you can't have any of the, fun stuff with you on there anyways.
Well, that's good. Sometimes. It's nice to have fun sometimes, too. So last time we were on the Santa Fe River, I'll tell you just a story real quick. We were, we stayed at a little trailer kind of deal, glamping. So it was an Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
And they had an RV and not a travel trailer, but it was almost like a shed that was converted into a little cabin, basically. I guess you could call it a cabin. So we stayed there and we went and rented tubes, and we're we'll just tube down the river, and we had a couple kayaks and stuff like that. And so we get on the river and we missed the spot where you're supposed to get out, at the end of Ginny Springs. And I swear I think we got out of the water just before dark. It was at a boat ramp, I don't know, way down the river. And someone gave us a ride back to the car because we passed our car up. It was I don't know. I think it took us 6 or 7 hours, and we would get a little farther down it was crazy. We would get a little farther down the river, and I'd be oh, it's just around the next bend, and everybody would be oh, when are we going to get out? I'm we're not there yet. It was pretty crazy.
Not that many places. Yeah, if you pass it, man, you're stuck.
Yeah, we were stuck for a while, but no, that was cool. So tell us about your bait shop. How long have you guys been in business?
So I have had it for just a little over a year. The owners that I took it over from had bought it out from a previous owner that had been in town for about 12 years. So all in all, the business itself has been sustained for about 15 years in our town. And we've just transferred it over. Just my mom actually worked at the bait shop in Lake City and was running wholesales for the people that own this, and they just decided they wanted to get out of it and do something different. And out of a whim, my mom and I said, well, why don't we buy it? And I said, okay. So she was going to buy it. She wasn't ready to retire. So I was like, well, I work from home, so I can work from the shop and work from home doing the same thing. Why not?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I bought myself a bait shop.
Cool.
I bought it on Friday, opened it up on Saturday, and have been going crazy ever since.
Heck yeah. So how often, how busy are you guys? Like, are you busy on the weekends? Like that sort of deal?
Yeah,
Like,
so it varies because, like, I just had a gentleman come in a half an hour ago, and he's buying squid because grouper season opens up in 2 weeks. So he wants to make sure he got ahead of it and make sure I have enough in stock.
Heck yeah.
So, it's random. Some Tuesdays I might have 2 customers. The next Tuesday I might have 40.
Right.
I've never been able to say, Friday's my best day or Saturday's my best day. It just depends on what the river's doing.
Gotcha.
Right now, pretty much everything's still closed. We're still dealing with a lot of flooding up here, so.
Debbie, you're still flooding from Debbie?
Yeah.
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 Most of the damage here is fixed, or like it doesn't look like we had any sort of storm here anymore. But I was just talking, one of the parasail guys was walking by the boat earlier when I was there, and he was like, man, Debbie really killed the season here. And as soon as the storm went through, like, business went to nothing pretty much. We couldn't do anything for a week, and then after that, it just never got busy again. So that we could have definitely had one more week of running every day before that happened,
Right. So when does your season start slowing down then? Now?
It already has. Like, as soon as all the kids go back to school and that sort of deal, it slows down for about a month or so. We started getting into October, and the king mackerel show up here, and the fishing starts getting pretty good, and it'll pick back up. October, November, December can be really busy for us.
I was going to say, you probably get a lot of the tourists that are starting to come down, right?
Yeah. Well, we get people like around all the holidays. So if it's like a school holiday, we're going to be super busy because everybody's like, oh, we have a long weekend. Let's go to Florida. Like they have like fall break or winter break or Christmas vacation or whatever you want to call it. Like they all call it something different now. So
right.
We'll get that like probably starting at the end of like November and going all the way through December and into January. And then I don't know, some schools up north get like some weird breaks in February and stuff. So
yeah, you get that winter break or whatever it is before you get the actual spring break type thing.
Yeah. So that's most of our business. I feel like that time of year is like families, which are my favorite kind of trips. There's like no like really hardcore. We have to go catch the most massive thing that there's ever swam in the sea kind of thing.
Yeah, I hear ya. Yeah, so we're hopefully within the river's almost back in its bank, so we probably have another about 2 weeks for it to finally hopefully open. But when it starts going down pretty drastically, the fishing will increase really good around here. So we're hoping it'll time right about that time it cools off down for us, so the bass fishing will be excellent.
Cool.
So we'll do a couple tournaments.
Biggest bass you've ever caught?
Me personally, only like about 3-pound bass.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So do you see? Okay, so tell me like where your shiners come from. I'm really interested in that. So you buy your shiners from like a wholesale place. Where do they get them?
There's a hatchery in Tallahassee that my supplier goes to and gets them from up there.
Gotcha. And they grow them themselves. They're like not wild caught shiners. They're
Correct. Yeah.
farmers, I guess.
Yeah, farm raised or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
But they're not domesticated, so you can still use them for rebreeding purposes.
Gotcha. So you can put in your own pond and they will
Yep.
reproduce it. Oh, nice.
Yes. Yeah, so I have a lot of guys that'll come in and do that, and they'll, just get them and they put them in their own pond. I have people that literally came in last week looking for minnows to help kill the mosquitoes.
Oh, that's funny.
So yeah, so we're looking at, I was just talking to her too about getting some feeder fish. I guess they're in between, the sizes as well,
Sure.
to offer to some of these guys, like I said, that are stocking their own ponds.
Yeah, like the little mosquito eater fish, like the live bear eels. They almost look like guppies.
Yes, yeah. So that's what we carry, yeah. They usually get a mixture of the toughies and the goldies. They look like goldfish.
Yeah.
But the Swanee bass up here, tear them up. They love them.
Oh, cool. The Swanee bass. I don't think I've ever caught one of those.
They're elusive, but some people, it's so funny to hear the conversations when the guys or like women come in and tell me their stories, because they'll be like, I have tried to fish for the Swanee bass for 3 years and I can't catch one.
Gotcha.
The next guy walks in and he's like, I just caught 12 yesterday. I don't know what you're talking about.
What are they talking about? I mean, I could possibly have caught one before and I just didn't realize what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh, that's just another largemouth, and threw it back.
Mm-hmm.
But
so the Swanee bass they're small, they're tiny.
Yeah.
They're just a midget size. So you probably just thought you caught a baby bass.
possibly.
Tossed it back in there.
Yep.
So, yeah, we haven't really been doing much fishing, obviously running the shop, so it's hard. But we've been trying to take Sundays to ourselves and go out on the river when we can.
Oh,
Like I
nice.
said, we went out a couple weeks ago for my daughter's birthday. My son caught his first bass, so he was super excited.
Cool.
We went to Keaton Beach over the weekend. My daughter caught her first catfish, so she was excited in the brackish water. My son caught himself a little lane grouper when we were out there scalloping, so.
Oh, cool. So you guys, how was scalloping? Did you get a bunch of them?
We did. We got about 5 gallons total. The first day we went out there, Rodeo tell you, we went and the current was awful. The tide was going out, so if you jumped in the front of the boat, you were at the back of the boat before you even came up with the water. Like, it was so quick, so it kicked the kids' butts trying to get down there and get some scallops. And we were in like 6 foot of water, so it was a little harder. We couldn't find a real super shallow spot that we could, come up out of the water, take a breath, and like chill out for a minute, take your mask off. So we scalloped for a couple hours on Friday, and then we went back out on Saturday, and the kids just slayed it. They went out 2 different times, and they had such a blast.
What's the number one product that you sell?
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me get you off of here. That sticky thing. Let me see if I can put the camera around. We'll take a walk. All right. So this is our Bass Assassin. This is a local company out of Mayo.
Yep.
Guy started it out of his garage. Is now nationally known for it.
Sure,
I'm sure you've used it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So we carry some fresh water, a little bit of salt water. Number one with these are butt naked.
Gotcha. That's the
So and I've just caught them in the different ones. My professional bass guys that come out here and do the tournaments, Nichols Lures from Georgia.
Gotcha.
So these guys, this is a buzz bait.
Yep.
So they explain it to me. The way it does is it flips around and it makes a noise that annoys the crap out of the bass.
Interesting. And it just makes them mad.
Yep, makes them mad, makes them bite on it. And we carry that, and those also another local company, Boogerman. They're local right out of Branford here, actually, where they make those out of. It was a brand that went out of business probably about 15 years ago, the guy was telling me. And him and his partner really loved to fish with him and couldn't find anything that was comparable to it. So they decided to bring the brand back and make it themselves.
That's very interesting. Now, there's something I noticed at ICAST about some of the smaller companies. I noticed that there were big corporations starting to buy them, or maybe not even starting to buy them, but have been for a long time. So a lot of the smaller tackle companies, the people that are making baits, are being bought out by like different fishing conglomerates, basically. Like
I believe so.
Stick and all those are owned by one company. And then, and I forget the name of the company. It was like C something or other. I don't know. I noticed that in a couple places, though.
And it's the same thing. The Nichols, just in the year that I've been here, they used to be a lot more local, home-based. You know, I had two people that I contacted. They were the ones that were making them. They would make special colors for us here. They used to have a Swanee River red and then a Swanee River green. He will no longer make the red for us. They kind of got bought out with a couple other companies. I walked up to the booth and I was like, hey, you know, I carry your stuff. I have a lot of my pro guys that are looking for this. You know, I know that you're doing it. He goes, here's a catalog, and walked away.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Like, all right.
I see where I stand.
Right.
I had a lot of that too. I had a bunch of people there that were like, okay, we're going to call you next week. We'll call you. And I'm like, I'm still waiting on your call, bro.
Yep, exactly. I've had a couple reach out.
I have as well.
But not as many as I really expected. Like, I thought going there, I was going to be introduced to, like you said, this main supplier guy or this main supplier that I could order directly from them. And a lot are like, call Big Rock.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I did find something interesting there. I found someone that makes fishing line. They were like some Chinese people.
Oh, I think I remember watching you talking to them in the live. He was the one that had that huge spool of it, right?
And they make their own fishing line, and you can just have it made for you, for your brand, and put your name on it and sell your own line of fishing line. And I mean, that's where a lot of companies are probably using the same manufacturer. Like, if you really want to be able to profit from selling tackle, I feel like putting your own name on it is probably the best way, and getting it for like the least amount of money that you can get it for. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Same thing that everybody else is getting. It just doesn't have that name brand on it, but you can build your own brand.
Right, and I think that's where I'm trying to gear towards, is doing a lot of that stuff. Again, because we are in such a small town, don't compete with them because they're 20 minutes away, but the other tackle shop is also who I get supplies from.
Sure.
They do wholesale, so it's that's how it works. It's the same thing. My other supplier, she has her own shop as well. Right. So I'm literally we're all buying from one big person and kind of sharing it between each other to help stock our shelves.
Yep. If you can just go straight to the manufacturer and get them to bring it to you, it cuts that guy out of there, you know? Right, that's hard to do sometimes, but for something like that, like fishing line, I'll give you the people's information.
Yeah, for sure. I would love to look into that.
Yeah, then you just slap your name on it, and you're gonna pay.
Thanks, Elliot.
Some of the bigger manufacturers are paying, you know, because you're getting the same product. I mean, you're probably not going to buy as much as they do, but I bet you can get it for. And if you get like a couple other people together, you know, you guys make your own brand.
Right.
Like a couple bait shops, and then you buy a bulk order from those people in China, and
share it between us.
And share it between you, and then your profit margin's more.
Right.
You know?
It might take me a little while.
Definitely a good idea. I know we've been, Tim had somebody can't remember where they were out of. One of his sponsors that he runs with, they're trying to get into the state of Florida, so he's trying to get me hooked up with them.
Cool.
Again, just bringing in, the smaller brands and local if I can.
Right, Bait Cave.
Check out my word.
Riley at Bait Cave.
Yes.
Yeah, they're really nice people. Man.
Drop it on me. Hold on, guys.
Yeah, they're good people. I got to hang out with them quite a bit at ICAST.
Oh, okay.
Go have dinner with them, and they went out fishing with me. Super nice people.
Oh, cool.
And I've seen Riley a couple times live stream on here. He live streams making his soft plastic.
Oh, okay.
So he basically makes them all in I think in his garage or whatever shop he has set up. And it's interesting how he does it. Like he has the molds and he just injects the plastic, the soft plastic product in them, and they dry or however the heck that works. And there you have your rubber worms.
I've got mealies right now. Can you see them?
Oh, yeah. Check that out.
Checking on the mealies. Had them in there for a little bit, so I had to let them sit out so they can start coming back to life.
Oh, yeah. So do you keep those in the fridge?
So we typically keep them in the fridge. I usually pull a couple out in the morning just to make sure they're looking good.
Well, can you tell us exactly where you're located?
So we are located in Branford, Florida, literally right in Branford on Main Street.
How many people live in Branford, Florida? Do you know?
I know the town is about 2 miles, like a square radius, the actual town itself. And I think there's maybe a couple thousand.
Okay.
I mean, we literally, we're probably about 15 minutes away from here where the kids get bussed in. We have an elementary school that runs pre-K to 5th grade. And then we have a high school and it runs from 6th grade to 12th grade.
Oh, cool. Did you go to school?
No, I didn't.
No, where are you from?
Originally, I'm losing you again. Southwest Florida.
Dropped us.
Yeah, I know.
Southwest Florida?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I grew up in Fort Myers, Cape Coral area.
Oh, right on. Nice.
Yep.
So not too far. A couple hours south. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
nice.
the parents relocated up here. My brother-in-law was military, came to retire from Texas.
Uh-huh.
He was stationed in Jacksonville for about a year and then he just retired. So we all decided like, okay, well, this looks like a great place for all of us to be and be able to have the family. We have 4 acres. My mom's kitty corner from us. She's got 5 acres. Cool. And then my sister's about 4 minutes away and she's got another 5 hours too.
That sounds like paradise to me.
It is. It's the nice thing about our area is it's not like what you're talking about in your area.
Yeah.
Your area wants to build, promote. And here they're like, no. Most of everything is grandfathered in. Yeah. I was telling Alex last night, like a lot of places, like I have 4 acres. So I can put a trailer on my property or have multi-families, but I can't sell you an acre and then you build your own house.
Okay.
So there's no land splitting.
So is it like it is here up there, like as far as the Airbnb, VRBO, and all that crap? Like, have a lot of people bought out properties there and turned them into like short-term rentals?
Yes. So actually, my landlord that owns the building, she has 4 tiny homes in the area. Okay. She's got a home, like a 3-bedroom out in the Ishnatucky. Uh-huh. And then she's got, I think, a house out in Steenahatchee too. So it's the same thing. That's what we've been doing is running Airbnbs because it's just so much nicer. I mean, that's what we did in Keaton Beach. It was, a 3-bedroom house and then it had a downstairs apartment. It fit comfortably. There was 12 of us that went,
So I like so I'm a little bit torn between the hotel thing and the Airbnb thing, and this is why. So the Airbnb is great. I think if you're gonna be somewhere for a little while, like maybe a week or something like that, right? And are looking for more of a private house, basically, and you have your own fridge, and you can cook all your own meals there, and you can do all that stuff. But there's also something said about having a hotel where they just bring you like towels and fresh linens every day, make sure everything, and they do that every day. So that service isn't there in an Airbnb. So it's kind of like being at home in a lot of ways. You still have to do all the work that you would have to do at home.
That's what my sister said the first time we went. She's like, why? No, I want to go out to eat. I don't want to have to clean up after myself.
Yeah.
Like, that's the purpose of going on vacation, is so I don't have to do my own crap.
Yeah, and we've done it both ways, and I enjoy both. Like when we just went to North Carolina, we had an Airbnb up on right by the lake there and that sort of deal. And I mean, it's really nice for that when you're going to stay a while, but it's also really nice to just not have to do those things too sometimes,
Right.
Be able to like go out to eat and
but so again, because we're so rural here, when we went to Keaton, there's not a hotel down there.
Gotcha.
I mean, the closest restaurant was like 15 minutes away, unless you wanted Bubba J's, pizza, chicken, and fresh shrimp out of the gas station.
Gotcha.
So in order to get into some of the more remote areas, and this one came with 2 boat slips. So we were able to bring the pontoon. The ramp was right next door. We literally just had to drive around the canal. So that makes it so much easier for, that kind of stuff. It's for people like you who want to come up here and hang out. You're not going to find a hotel,
No, you just have to bring a tent.
Yep.
I'm sure you guys have campgrounds up there, right?
Oh, yeah. Definitely a lot of campgrounds. And a lot of the campgrounds either offer cabins as well.
Oh, see, that's nice. I'd rather do
invasive. Please get in touch with me.
I'd much rather do a cabin than a tent anymore.
Yeah, we don't.
Sleeping on the ground is not where it's at.
No, the kids can do that, right? We put the kids in the tent, let y'all have fun.
Mind, except like we went island camping a few months ago, I guess back in the spring, and we only stayed one night, and oh my goodness, like I felt like I was about 90 years old when I woke up the next morning. The boys
I'll be here.
collapsed, and we all ended up in the tent with the dogs. It was mayhem. Like in the middle of the night, the dogs were walking, or Casper was walking on top of the boys in the middle of the night because their
couldn't find a spot.
Down. Yeah, he was like walking on top of them, and it was something. But we definitely did not sleep very much, and everybody was cold. Cabin's way better.
Yeah. So what islands did you guys go to? Did you go down to like 10,000 islands?
No, just one of the spoil islands here in Pinellas County.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just an island that was made when they dredged all the channels out here.
Okay.
They just put all the spoil from those channels. They just pile it up into islands.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's a ton of them. They're all the way pretty much throughout Pinellas County, and you can go hang out on them. There are a few that are like bird sanctuaries that you're really not supposed to go on, but for the most part, a lot of them people have taken like picnic tables and set up all kinds of cool stuff out there.
Really?
So that it makes it easier to camp. So it's pretty nice. Yeah, Angelo glamping is the way to go.
Yeah. I have to say, like, my sister's got a camper, because when they first came down here, when they were looking for property, they stayed in a camper. So she has a 2-bedroom camper, sleeps us all. That's what we do.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's perfect.
We go put that somewhere out.
But the problem with that is, I think I would probably rather get an RV, because then I can pull my boat behind the RV, and I really try to take my boat everywhere I go.
Right. So that's what they use. I have a Yukon, so I usually tow a trailer, depending on what we're doing, or the boat.
Right.
We'll make a couple trips. Yeah.
So you tow the boat around?
Yes.
Can you back it in? No, dang.
Actually, I did. Take that back. I did when we took my husband's boat. He's got a storm. We took it out to Lake Coon, and he said, "Nope, you're going to back it in," because there was no one there. So he's like, "There's no one here. Take 50 times if you need to, and do it." It didn't take me that long, but I did get it in there.
Yeah,
It's getting there.
We've tried some of those things before, like Heather and I, and they haven't always gone the best.
Yeah. We try to come up with an agreement because my brother-in-law and my sister, they're like that too. They'll get off and we're taping them at the ramp, watching them, going down. So
Yeah.
I told my husband last time we took the boat, I said, there's not going to be no arguments. You're going to go get it, back it in. I'll put it on the trailer and I'm driving it.
Right. Well, one time we, am I allowed to tell this story?
What?
From North Carolina about you pulling the boat on the trailer?
Oh, and thanks, man.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So we're leaving. We rented an Airbnb in North Carolina one time, and it was actually on the lake, and a super nice place. Like every year we go there, the boys are like, "That was the best year when we were on the lake," and we always move around to other places. So we're getting ready to leave there, and I'm like, "Heather, you drive the boat over to the boat ramp. I'll pull the truck around, and you can just pull it on the trailer, right? It's like just pull it right up on there. It's got two poles that keep you in place.
The guide poles, yeah.
The guide poles. So she got up on there and then maybe gave it a little too much throttle, and it wasn't too bad. It just put one little scratch on the boat and broke a PVC pipe. But that was the last time she ever tried to do it. I'm like, man, you just have to practice. You got to practice. But I think it scared her a little bit.
I tell you, they definitely are finicky. At my brother-in-law's boat, they've got a pontoon, and the throttle cable was going out.
Uh-huh.
So kind of same thing. They're like we're gonna pull it in. All we need to do is just put it in the boat. I'm stuck in the middle of the river. I'm on top of the thing, trying to get it to go into gear. Yeah. I was crying. I was so upset. I'm like, there's people everywhere.
When in doubt, don't touch the throttle.
And he's like, my brother-in-law is like, he doing this. They had to swim to the boat to come get on the boat to get it into gear. Yeah.
Oh, dang.
So I said, no, I won't touch his boat ever. And he got it fixed now, so it works. And he's like, it works good now. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll sit over here. I'm perfect being the passenger princess on your boat, guy. No.
It looks easy when you're watching someone else do it, and then you get put in that position where, now I have to do it. I know I do. I get nervous, right? Yeah. And as soon as you get nervous, like you just don't.
Everything starts going haywire. You can't think about what you're supposed to do.
Oh no, things aren't looking good. Yeah. So when I first bought my little boat, I was not used to driving a little boat, right? The little aqua sport that we have, and I hit a pontoon boat with that thing. And it didn't hurt the pontoon boat. It like scratched the cowling on my engine, but I was not used to like steering a vessel like that. I was used to like using a rudder basically, and it's a little different.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely, like I said, my husband had it. He ran into my brother-in-law's pontoon with his boat.
Gotcha.
We were trying to get up into the shallows there and park all the boats so we could get the lily pad out, and same thing, hit that throttle, twisted the boat, and boom.
Yeah.
They're so finicky.
Oh yeah. So my dad always made me drive the boat when I was a kid. He would just hang out, and I was pretty much his like chauffeur. Yeah. And I would like drive him around, but I would pull the boat on the trailer and all that kind of stuff. So I've been doing that since I was like 10 years old.
Perfect. Yeah, and that's what we're doing with the kids now. Is 90% of the time it's like we are letting the kids do it.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to let the teenagers do the boater safety course this year or this summer. They're just about to do it. We just got my daughter her permit, so she did her driving class, so we got to take her into that.
Oh man,
that's what my brother keeps saying.
Wait,
teach her how to drive the trailer.
She's getting her driver's license.
Her permit. We gotta start with the permit. Yeah, she just turned 15, so.
Gotcha. I have one of those too. He's going to be 15 in December, so he's already like plotting how he's going to buy his mom's car from her. He's got big plans, and I'm like, you keep spending all your money on tennis shoes, bro. You're not gonna have enough money to buy a car. I promise.
Yeah, my son is obsessed with his hats and Fortnite. That's where all his stuff goes. He was
that's
not
exactly
happy,
right.
But I stole his hat from him this morning,
Nice.
so I could put it up here. He's like, "What?" I said, "I need your hat." I said, "I need it for the shop today." And he's like, well, "What am I supposed to wear?" I'm like, "You've got 40 other ones. Go figure it out. You can deal with it for one day."
Heck yeah. Crappie Guru said he just sent me one. Sent me a new hat. I have a Crappie Guru hat that I used to wear all the time, but man, I pretty much wore that thing out.
Yeah. He says, I'm going to tell you, he loves his hat, says it's super comfortable. The fit is great.
I'm wearing the same one, and I was like, this one's kind of dirty. Like, I've been wearing it for a month or however long we've had it. I had a phone call. That's okay. What's up, Guru? Hat is in the mail. We got to send you one. Heather, can we send Crappie Guru a hat?
Sure.
Which hat do you want, Guru? We got a bunch of them now. You want one like this? Or the royal blue?
I got you. Hang on.
The one I have, he wants this one.
That one?
Link to buy a hat is in at the link tree in our bio. This is the best place, Grizzly Adams.
I'm gonna have to splice this live because you and Kayla got in trouble.
That's okay. I mean, it was basically like we just started over. That was like the live.
Okay.
Yep, there we go. Just getting us started.
Hi, Duggar. Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
So we were talking about scalloping, and I wanted to tell you, I was able to give the kids a nice little lesson because of you. I think it was one of the first couple lives I seen. You did the blob jellyfish. Remember? And you licked it, and you were telling everybody it was okay.
Yeah.
So we went out the second night, and they started to swarm in the boats. And the little boys, they're 4 and 6, and they're just freaking out at that point. They're like, oh my God. I'm like, it's fine. So I finally got my daughter to catch one, and I was like, look, Captain Steve showed us that they are fine. And so when I was telling him the story, so my daughter's like, well, I'm not touching it unless you lick it. I'm like, no, I don't have to lick it to prove it. I was like, we could just touch it. I was like, Steve already licked it. I know it's safe. I said, but I don't have to.
I don't know if I would trust that all the time, though.
So, but it was just cool that I was able to like explain to them exactly what it was and how it worked, and that there is no stingers on them, and they were perfectly fine to get in the water, because of something you had said before.
Yeah, I mean, most of those jellyfish won't hurt you, but the ones with like the long tentacles on them, I would steer away from.
Yeah,
All those,
like I want to go there.
And even the big moon jellyfish,
Thanks for the follows, guys.
They don't sting you. Moon jellyfish do not sting you. So like the really big, giant, blob-looking ones,
Right.
they have short tentacles. They don't do anything to you. But any of the ones with like the long, like weird-looking tentacles on them, I would stay away from those ones. They'll get you.
Now, do you get many of those when you're out there?
I see them sometimes. They certain times a year, I feel like there are thousands, millions of them. I've seen them everywhere from like the size of a car
Oh, wow.
to little tiny, like those little tiny ones that are like the size of maybe a tennis ball or something are the ones that really get you. And last winter I saw more man o' wars than I've ever seen in the Gulf before. And those ones really get you. And
those are far out is where you're seeing them, right?
Well, I saw them all the way up to the beach. They had to be washing up on the beach.
Really?
Here in Pinellas County. They had to be. I saw dozens of them.
So it must be like their breeding season or something that they
Oh,
come
no,
through?
I've never seen them like that here
So
before. I've like
crazy.
randomly seen one or two over the years, but I've never
Hmm.
seen like as many as last year. It had to just be like the wind blew them here somehow from somewhere, wherever they come from.
Right, right. The
They get
La
'em a
Nina
lot,
or El Nina doing something.
or whatever. They get them a lot over on the East Coast, and people get
Okay.
stung by them. I guess they're supposed to be really painful. I don't know. I'm not letting one of the things get me.
Yeah. Like I said, if I didn't know what those were, we probably would have taken everybody out of the water and we probably went back to the house. So
Heck yeah.
we have a lot of cabbage head jellyfish in Texas.
I don't know what those are. Cabbage head jellyfish?
Elliot says we had flamingos in Keaton Beach last year after the hurricane. I do remember
Oh.
seeing posts of that.
There were flamingos all over Florida last year. There were some here in St. Pete too.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
like
so
down
crazy.
in Fort DeSoto, they had pictures of them down there. So that's kind of cool. I see like white pelicans every year. Do you ever see those up there?
We did not. Not maybe out by the beach, but I don't see them here.
White pelicans. So every winter they come down here, and I've seen them around like Honeymoon Island and Calidisi Island, and I've seen them in the bay like around Fort DeSoto. So they come down here from like Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're migratory. They're not like brown pelicans, and they're bigger. And I guess they eat other birds and stuff like that sometimes too. So they're not just
Interesting.
fish eaters like brown pelicans are. They're
Okay.
like twice the size of a brown pelican.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's
We're
pretty
gonna
damn big.
start going up here probably in another month or so. Like whenever it starts getting cold up there, we'll start seeing them.
They'll start flocking down
They
here.
have to fly over there though to get to here.
Yeah. Yeah, they have to.
Yeah, so that's weird. They have to land there somewhere.
Yeah, might be closer to, like I said, the shore. We do a lot more, like I said, freshwater here. So we get the sandhill cranes
Oh
up
yeah,
here.
those
We had a
things.
couple of them walking around town for a couple weeks. We thought he was lost. So he just paced up and down Main Street. He was over by the watermelon plant.
Yeah, they're loud too, right? Those things make some crazy.
Yeah, they scream. It makes it sound like you ran over a kid.
I know. I've been walking through the woods before and like hear that, and I'm like, what in the hell was that? Like that was I don't know what that was, a chupacabra or something.
Yeah, it's like Blair Witch stuff going on. Yeah.
They come from
Yeah, that is
Wisconsin.
true.
Heather, do you have a block for me? Cool. So, okay, so you have 5 children?
3.
3. Why do I think 5? You know, those are.
Because the little one was 5. He just turned 6 on Saturday.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I actually have 3. I have an older son. He's in like his mid-20s now.
Okay.
His name's Ben. So he lives here in Mills County.
Okay.
But he actually deckhanded for me. I think he was probably 18 or something when he deckhanded for me.
Yeah.
Deckhanded for me for a summer, so that was kind of cool.
I was going to say, was he involved? That's awesome. And you've got Elle out there working the weekends right now, right? Trying to afford that cost.
Just occasionally, he wants to work every day that he can because he makes good money doing it. Like he can't do anything else as a 14-year-old to go make like $300 in a day. So $8 TikTok shop. So he can do that. He's like, oh man, I'm never like, why would I want to go work at Publix or do this or that when I can just go work with Dad a couple days and make more than I would make in 2 weeks. So
Right. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. My daughter usually does some odds and ends from my brother-in-law. They were doing Airbnbs with their RV for a while. So when they do, they pay her. She goes over there and cleans it, preps it, gets everything set up for the people. When it comes back, she does the same thing. So.
Right. Well, that's pretty cool.
Like you said, it's tough for the younger generation now to get jobs. It's not like it was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I had my first job at a restaurant when I was like 14. You know, hostess.
Me too. Me too. My first job was actually my very first job was working at a restaurant as a busboy, and I did that. I was going to school, you know, doing all that stuff, and I had a night. I think I worked like 3 nights a week or something, bussing tables. I was 14 or 15.
Yep. But that's what we did, and it was like a given.
Yeah,
that,
I mean, I wanted my own money.
Right.
You know,
right,
to be able to get things.
No grasshoppers today.
That's right. She's got a customer.
Yep. It's just Mr. Danny.
Mr. Danny.
Say hi.
What's up, Mr. Danny?
Mr. Danny. I say hey.
Hey.
He's kind of our town. What do you call it? Our town. He floats between me and the barber shop. He hangs out down there with Rabbit. Comes over here, helps me with my shells, helps me put some stuff away. He was helping me yesterday.
Very cool.
Yeah. So
I'm going to be Mr. Danny someday.
Yeah, it's just a small little community. Like I said, we all kind of know each other. We all, you know, have each other's back with the business and stuff like that. So.
Right. Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's. Yeah. You said you're still doing that thing again. I'm going. All right, I'll see you later, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did that, and I worked for this. So the summer. Oh, actually, I worked for the school board building portable classrooms. That was one of my first jobs. So like they had a summer program. They had a carpentry program at the school I was going to at Largo High School. And so I got a job building classrooms, building like those little portables that you see. We built one of those one summer. You know, it was like $12 an hour, something like that. And,
those guys.
you know, and I learned a lot from that job. And then the next summer I worked for this guy doing like boat maintenance and boat detailing and that sort of deal. And that job was
how you got into it?
Yeah. No, that's not how I got into fishing, but I learned a lot of stuff from that guy. You know, about boat maintenance and about how to just do random stuff, you know, like put water in batteries and just random boat stuff that otherwise you wouldn't really know unless you watched a YouTube video.
So how did you get into wanting to become a captain then?
Oh man, I kind of stumbled upon it. Honestly, I was a construction worker at the time. I was doing like I was installing hardwood floors, and I was subcontracting work from a couple places installing wood floors. And one of the guys that I worked with for a while got a job on a fishing boat, and I had been talking to him for a little bit, and he said,
"Thank you for the roses."
He called me one day and he said that one of the deckhands quit for the company he worked for, and they were looking for a deckhand. So the next day I went and talked to the owner of the company, the fishing boat, and I went and he was like, well, come out with us tomorrow. I'm like, I might be interested in a job. And he said, come out with us tomorrow. We're going to go do a bank signing. Which means they got to run out past 9 miles in federal water, so they're not in the state of Florida anymore. There's like weird stuff that happens sometimes. So like that's one of the things that we used to do a lot of. Then I don't know. Then they didn't have to pay state sales tax or some weirdness like that. So their plan was to get me seasick, right? Because it was like 6 foot the next day, and it was really windy and rough. So they planned to get me seasick. So I go out with them. And my buddy, who was the actual deckhand on that boat, ended up getting sick. He's like puking over the back of the boat the whole time. And I'm like, man, this is kind of fun.
Thank you, Alex.
You know, this is kind of fun. I'm just hanging out and My buddy's getting
He's
sick.
over there
Haha.
sick.
Oh yeah. And so we got back, and I told them that I needed to get my job that I was at, my 2-week notice, and that kind of deal. So I gave them a notice, and I've pretty much been fishing for the most part since then. I kind of went back to doing hardwood floors for a little bit, and I worked at a hotel as a maintenance man. That is not a job for me. I'm way too busy for that. That is like an old man job where you don't really want to, you just want to not really do a whole ton and just tinker around with shit all day. That is not my kind of job. I went crazy at that job.
You hate it.
That was the worst job I ever had. And I could do it just fine. I was really good at it, but oh my God, I was so bored. I didn't get to talk to enough people. It just wasn't good for me. I need to be busy. If I'm not busy, it's not good for my mental health.
Right. Always got to keep busy doing something.
I do. If I don't, it doesn't work out for me. So when you go bass fishing, do you use live bait or do you use artificial bait?
We go back and forth. I'm still trying to learn how to use a lot of these lures. So my son and I will usually take a couple different ones off of the shelves that the guys use, and we'll just go out there and try to play with them, and work with it. I prefer to use an F3 or an F5 Rapala.
Okay, cool.
Usually throw. I see where these guys like these chatterbaits and the buzz baits and that kind of stuff. I just don't think I'm not doing it right.
Gotcha.
I need to get out there with one of these guys. Sir?
Yeah, I like the chatterbaits. They're good. I've caught a few bass on them.
Mm-hmm. Well, you were using something when you went down in the Everglades.
There was nothing that I didn't use. I changed every single lure. I used every lure in my tackle box and caught nothing. It was definitely not my
the frogs. We do a lot of frogs.
Do you guys get you catch a lot of bass on those frogs?
Yeah, they do up here. The guys love them. They'll even use the little frogs, and they'll catch the crappie or the speckled perch. They do a lot of that up here too.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So are there a lot of crappie on the Swanee River? They catch a bunch of them there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got, I don't know how many lakes around here too, bless you, that the guys will go out there and they'll just, either I've got people that are bank fish or they'll throw their boats in there and they'll fill a cooler within a couple hours.
That's
just
pretty good.
Limit out, yeah.
Just from shore, huh?
Yeah, there's just a very diverse type, amount of fish up in this area.
Right. So have you seen sturgeon before?
Yes.
You've seen them jump?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're dangerous and they jump too.
Yeah. I've seen them jump in Clearwater Pass.
Oh really?
3 times.
That's crazy.
I know.
We get them a lot, I think, in the Santa Fe is where they're more so.
So they go up in those rivers to spawn because normally they're out in the Gulf of Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we get them that come up. I think it's just about time, isn't it?
I've seen them.
I think it's late September to early May that we are, or it could be flip-flop, because I think it's when we usually go out in the fall, because we usually be out fishing a little bit later, and then that's when it seems like they come, is right in that afternoon.
Gotcha. Oh, pardon me. I've seen them in the morning here, jumping. Oh, I've seen them in the afternoon too. Just in Clearwater Pass. I don't know why they're in Clearwater Pass because they're not really going up into any rivers around here to spawn or anything. But for some reason they come through here in probably March or April. Okay. And I don't think I saw any this year, but 2 or 3 years in a row before that I did. And the first time I saw one, I just saw a fish jump, and I'm trying to figure out what the heck it was. I'm man, that wasn't a shark. I really don't know what it was. And then a friend of mine saw one the next day, and he said, "Oh man, I just saw a sturgeon jump." And everybody on the radio is like, "Nah, you're full of it. You know, it was a shark or something." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I saw one too." You know, I don't know why they're there, but they're there just about every year, I think. And they're
we actually,
they're a highly protected species.
I had somebody come in
out of the water. If you are in possession of one, like, you're definitely going to jail. And
I had some guy come in, I think he was from Ohio, and he was putting around the store, and I was like, "Is there something?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to look for, I want to get some kind of leader, some kind of setup, because I want to go out and catch a sturgeon." Like, no. I was like, "Unless you want to enjoy our county lockup for a couple of days, I'd suggest you not."
Yeah, that's crazy. I used to know this guy. He was an FWC biologist. His name was Charlie, and I just found out that Charlie passed away a few days ago, actually, when Olivia was on the boat. So,
sorry to hear.
Charlie had a bunch of pictures. Yeah, great old guy. I mean, he was a good friend of mine at one time. I hadn't seen him in a few years,
I
but
was sad to hear that.
yeah, Charlie.
Yeah, Crappy, we're in Branford.
So he had a bunch of pictures of one that, like, washed up somewhere up there, or it was at a boat ramp, somewhere up there along the Swanee, like near you. Mm-hmm. And they called him up and they were like, "We want you to come take a look at this thing." And he shows up and he had some of the scales from it, and they were like, like pretty, yeah, like almost like bone. So he had them like on a necklace. He always made all kinds of weird stuff like that. But there were FWC officers there, and like there was a whole investigation about how this thing died. And I don't think they ever figured out who did it, but they were definitely trying to.
I wonder, why are they so super protected?
I just don't think there are that many of them.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, maybe there used to be a lot of them and there aren't anymore.
Because, I mean, they look like they'd be a heck of a fight.
They would be. They must eat like crabs and shrimp and stuff like that. I'm surprised more people don't hook into them.
Right, yeah.
They have like that mouth that's like on the bottom with the little barbells. So they have to eat like, little creatures off the bottom, whatever they are. They were almost went into extinction for their eggs. There you go. Caviar.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I've also heard they only jump once a day.
How would you know that?
I don't know. Somebody said that when we were talking about him, and I'm like, okay.
That's. I wonder if that's true. That's got to be that's a wives' tale. There's no way you could possibly ever know that.
Right, unless you tag the fish and you just follow it all day long.
Tag it. Oh, maybe they do that. They only jump once a day. Interesting. I wonder why. Like, why would they even jump at all?
We were talking. I don't know why we didn't Google it while we were doing that, but we were thinking of maybe like how a cow's stomach has to have so many stomachs to process everything. Uh-huh. Maybe that's how they process.
Or maybe they're just trying to see where they're at.
Make sure they don't run into that boat.
Right. Like, oh, I'm in this bend of the river. I got to keep going.
Yeah. Keep going a little bit further.
Interesting. It's weird how they can spawn up in the Swanee River somewhere, probably towards the headwaters of the Swanee, and then go back out into the Gulf, and then make it back to the Swanee next year in the same location. Like, how do they know that? Because they're not supposed to be very smart creatures. But they can figure that out. And it's like tunas. Like, so the bluefin tuna population in the Atlantic is... So there are two populations. They all come together in the summertime off of... up there off of like Newfoundland and New England. So they're all there every year, and that's where they go there in the summertime and they hang out. And then at some point in the fall, that giant population of fish splits in half, and half of the population goes into the Mediterranean Sea, all the way on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, right? And the other half of the population goes into the Caribbean Sea and the Gulf of Mexico. And they go down there to their respective places and they spawn. And then by the beginning of next summer, they're back in the same place again together.
That's crazy.
And they always go back to the same place. Like if the fish went to the Mediterranean this year, that same fish is going to go back to the same place that it was born, basically.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that they could travel that far and end up in exactly the same spot year after year after year. Like how do you explain how they do that?
Right. Like I know dolphins and orcas and whales do that, but that's because they are highly intelligent.
Right.
You know, it's a fish brain.
The fish brain, that's right.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Oh, that's right. Exactly, Guru. Crappy Guru said, that's so cool when you think about it, and I can't even find my way home after a couple spicy waters. Exactly.
These guys migrate around the world twice a year. Yeah.
I read an article in National Geographic magazine while sitting in a doctor's office one time about the tuna migration. That's why I know about it.
I was gonna say, I was thinking Discovery Channel, but you know. I learned a lot when I was pregnant and staying up in the middle of the night on the Discovery Channel.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's all I want. That's all I wanted to watch when I was a kid, like Discovery Channel all the time. I would have been fine with that.
Yeah, for sure. So you were complaining about your rods on the boat the other day.
Uh-huh.
So what do you typically use when you're out there? You said your ugly sticks, but you said you don't like them right now, right?
Well, no, like the last half a dozen of them that I bought, the reel seats spun on them. And I just don't think they're made to handle some of the fish that we're hooking into. You know, we're hooking into, sometimes 200-300 pound sharks, and the fishing rod just isn't really built to handle that, I don't think.
Right. So now do you get like a pro model? Do they have like pro models for you to use because you're using them like every day, or do you just have like the same rod that I can buy?
Yeah, same thing. I go to Fisherman's Ideal Supply House. It's about 20 minutes from my house, and buy rods from those guys. And so I've been using ugly sticks on my boat, and the first couple batches of them that I bought have been great, but for some reason the last one that I bought was no good. All the reel seats, every single one of them broke eventually.
I was going to say, and you were just saying about with iCast, they merged with somebody, right?
Yeah. Well, they're owned by a big outdoor conglomeration. They own Penn Reels, they own Ugly Stick, they own several Plano. Yeah, Chris, the production rods are not quality. That's exactly right. You got to go get custom rods made. And that's super expensive. It's hard for me to justify putting that much money into a fishing rod that is going to take the abuse that it takes on a fishing charter. So I'm better off buying the cheap boat rods and throwing them away when they break and buying more.
Right.
You know, than to go spend $300 on a rod that might last a little longer, but probably not enough to justify spending that much money on it.
Right. So mostly here, like I said, salt or freshwater. So I usually just carry, a lot of the cheaper throwaway poles. We call them the Shakespeare's, or the Zebcos. for the kids to come in. Like they took 4 of them when we went fishing this weekend. The kids came in. So we're looking to try and expand a little bit more into the saltwater, bring a little bit more of that stuff in.
Sure. So how far are you guys from the saltwater? How long does it take to get out to like the bay, or I guess you guys are right on the Gulf, right?
Yeah, it's about an hour. Either you
Okay.
head out to Horseshoe or Steenahatchee.
Gotcha.
Heaton was about an hour and 10 minutes. But I have a lot of guys, if they're heading out to Horseshoe or Steenahatchee, we're closer here for them to hit me than it is for them to go down into Steenahatchee and then backtrack to where the bait shop is there. So I'll get the guys that'll come in here before they're heading out, get some of their, like I said, saltwater tackle, mostly a lot of frozen bait. So now that that'll start, everyone's starting to do that, I'll start carrying a lot more. Like I said, a gentleman came in this morning, wanted to make sure he got his squid for grouper season in 2 weeks. So.
So the gag grouper fishing up that way is really good, from what I've heard.
Okay.
I've never done it before up there, but like the Gulf's a lot more shallow there.
Yes.
Around
Yeah.
Steenahatchee, it takes a while, but there's like rock piles you can catch gag groupers in like 10 feet of water there.
Really interesting. We didn't do too much saltwater fishing because it was hard because the kids were all over the place when we're scalloping.
Oh yeah.
I kept trying to get them to stay on one side of the boat so we could fish on the other side of the boat. But my brother-in-law put on a live shrimp, and every time he put it in the waters, we were hitting lane snappers.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that was nice. You know what I mean? They were tiny, little small ones, but it was nice because he'd hook it on there and then give it to one of the little kids. So then they're reeling it in, having fun with it.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Linster says you can troll for them up there. I troll for them here, sometimes. Like with big plugs, like big. I used to use like bomber long A's, like those, like just bomber lures, but.
I got a couple of those sitting right there.
Yeah, I mean those are great. I've caught more gag groupers on those than probably any other lure.
Do you use any like the tuna skirts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
when we're mackerel fishing, when we're king fishing, I use a lot of like sea witches, tuna feathers, like all different sorts of stuff like that. I used to make them all myself, but I don't really have time to mess around with that anymore. So I usually just buy them,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I just got some of those in. Some of the spoons, because I think you talked about those, using those. So I ordered in some of those.
Yeah, spoons work really well for pretty much any pelagic fish out here. I mean, it just looks like a bait fish,
Right. Okay.
Anything that looks
that's-
like a bait fish is going to get eaten.
So what do you use for line? We were talking about that earlier. Do you have a preferred line you put on your stuff?
So right now I just got a spool of line from a company called Vicious, and I actually met them at ICAST. I'm trying their line out. I might switch over to them. I normally use like Andy or Exum or one of those brands. I just buy it in bulk. I buy the big 5-pound spools, and then I have to buy one about once a year or something per boat.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's not that bad then.
No. So so I just got a big spool of like 80-pound from this company Vicious, and I'm gonna try their line out, and it looks like it's great line. Hopefully it does good for me.
And you use a braided line, right?
No, I really don't use any braid. I use
No? Okay.
all monofilament.
Monofilament. Okay.
Yeah, the braided line gets, as soon as you backlash that stuff, you might as well throw the reel away. Man, yeah, I have, Chris R. That's a good line. I mean, I've used about every kind of brand of line there is out there. I use a lot of fishing lines, so I try to usually get something that maybe isn't quite as expensive as Mayomi or something like that, you know.
Right.
And I think at the end of the day, a lot of that fishing line's made at the same manufacturing plant. They just put a different name on it.
Yep, it's just like all our canned vegetables. It's the same thing.
Crappie Guru, a McDonald's straw is one of the best macro baits you can get, buddy. Don't tell anybody, it's a secret. It really works. The McDonald's straw, it works well.
Slice it up.
Just cut it into a piece about like that long and put a little J hook in it and put it out there and roll it along the surface. And they really will bite it.
Yeah, my son goes, when we go out, when he's doing catfishing, he always takes fried chicken. I'm like, I own a bait store and I have everything that you could do, and you want to go fishing with fried chicken. And he swears by it. That's what he catches him on. So I'm like, okay.
Fried chicken, huh?
Yep.
I've heard the catfishing in the Swanee's pretty good.
They are.
Yeah.
You would think they're muddy, but they're not. They're a nice, clean fish.
Yeah. Yeah, so those are channel cats? Is that what you guys are catching?
Yeah, so they have both.
Flathead?
The channel cat. Yep.
Interesting.
I think if you get up more in the northern Swanee, people will say that they're muddy. But a lot of people down here, they'll fill coolers full of them all day long.
I've heard they're really good, yeah.
Yeah, slowly expanding my tasting of the seafood from around here. So
I mean, catfish is amazing. That's like if I grew up eating bluegill, catfish, crappie, all that stuff. I mean, that's what I grew up eating. If I ate fish, it wasn't red snapper or grouper. It was half a bucket of crappies that we caught the night before, and we would clean them and fry them up. A lot of times whole. We would just gut them and scale them and cut the heads off and fry them whole. I really prefer panfish like that.
yeah, I am not a fish eating person. Never have been. It's the craziest thing. But now that I'm getting older, I do find that I can eat a lot more than I used to.
Sure.
And the flavors are a lot different.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say we ate scallops. We did scallops. My sister made like a scallop scampi with them. It was fabulous. All the kids ate it. Nobody knew they were eating seafood. It was, fantastic.
That's excellent. So I used to have to tell my boys that if we went out to eat, like most parents have to be like, "Hey guys, that's chicken," to get them something. I had to be like, "Hey boys, that's fish. Just eat it."
The opposite. Yep, those are fish fingers we just got for you.
Yeah. Oh, Guru's about to get his Starlink. You got to be excited about that, buddy.
Oh, can we go live?
I'm excited. What?
You should do a live with him when he gets it.
No, that's his show.
Oh, I know.
We should, Guru. We should do this sometime, though. I'd love to have you on. So we're going to be doing this once a week. We did it last week, but we were on someone else's podcast. I've been talking about it forever, about actually doing a podcast. And so we're finally just going to do it. I'm like, there is no reason why we're not doing this.
Hey.
They have me on TV.
Yeah. And Kayla.
You're on TV.
Girl, love your red
On the
hair.
TV?
I got to show you guys.
Oh, they've.
Yeah, they have. I'm still here. Okay. Guru, it's going to work. Oh, now it's not on there anymore. What happened? Oh, there it is. Let's see. I'm going to flip you guys here real quick. There we go.
Nice.
That's what we look like on TV.
Great.
Oh, goodness.
We'll just see how it goes. And if it's
That's funny. I've actually never really seen myself on TV before. I'm kind of happy that I don't really see myself when I'm doing this, so I'm not like
Yeah.
self-conscious about it at all. Not that I'm really very self-conscious about that anyway,
Right.
but it's a little weird to see
It
yourself.
takes,
Like,
yeah, it takes a little getting used to, and it was like the first one I did with Andrew, I think at the house, and I'm not sure who came in there, and I was just like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I feel like I'm talking to a wall. Like,
that's how I used to feel. I'm like, oh my god, I'm pretty much
what
just
am I supposed to
cracking
say?
my
Like,
phone. You're really talking to people. You're just talking to your people. You know,
right.
you build
I
your
think
little
that's the
community
difference.
around you, and they're always there when you're there. And like Guru said, the more you do it, the easier it gets for sure. And I'm sure you've heard me talk about it before. When I first started doing this, I would like turn the camera around and like point it away from myself, and I didn't really want to be on camera, and like, you know, and I went through that whole phase of like really just learning how to be successful at this. And then I started going and watching some of the videos that that TikTok puts out. They put out like tutorial videos that can really teach you a lot. So you can go to some of those videos and watch them, and they will tell you things such as, you know, if you point the camera at yourself, you're going to get more viewers. If you interact with the people, you're going to get more viewers. And they really, if you pay attention to what they tell you to do and you do those things, you'll get a lot better at it, and you'll get more people following you, more people watching you, and all of the things.
Right. I just feel like unless I'm doing something, it's going to be hard for me to figure out content.
Sure. You know what you could do, and honestly, it may sound weird, but I think people would watch it, and it might be the weirdest thing to you, but if you take your camera and point it at your bait tanks.
Oh, when I got the fish?
Yeah. That might be just to test out a couple times.
Right.
I mean, I would watch that for a few minutes. You know what I mean?
I mean, you have these people that are addicted to watching bubbles out of a sponge. I mean,
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like that whole just seeing the fish circling around in the bait tank for hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Attacking each other. That might be an idea.
You never know. Next thing you know, you'll have 5,000 people in there watching your bait fish swim around.
Right. All right, thank you.
Me too.
Yeah,
Let's
just a day in the bait shop.
that feeds a bass on here. Oh, that's Gus the bass. Crappie Guru, I know that bass. I've seen that bass before.
Yeah.
I actually have not seen Gus the bass. Do you know who Gus the bass is, Kayla?
Mm-mm. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, there's a guy that like has a bass in a fish tank, and he just feeds it and live streams that, and a bunch of people watch it. Angelo, we watch a guy teach people real. Exactly. It's, I mean, sometimes the weirdest thing that you would never think people want to see is what they actually want to see. It's like me with the fish cleaning. Like, who would have ever thought that many people would watch someone clean a fish? Yeah,
to me, I stumbled across you because that was right when they had all the PCB shark attacks. So I was kind of looking that up on my Facebook or on TikTok to see what was going on because there was people doing it, and I ended up in your live.
In my shark videos post.
Yeah, and it was like, how awesome is this guy? He's got 500 people in there, and he still takes the time to say, "Hey, Branford Bait, how you doing today? Thanks for coming in." Like, you know what I mean? It was like that community that you built on your page was awesome. The followers. I was like, I want to be a part of this. This is cool. I didn't even know I could do anything with my bait business on TikTok. Okay. I was like, all right, Steve, let's go. I started a new account, and that's where it came from. Like,
yeah, I think a lot of people find me in similar ways, or they'll be coming here on vacation, and all of a sudden I'm in their FY page, and then they're hooked. and then I got them all. They're like, what is this crazy guy doing today? You know, what is going to happen today?
Right, but like, I mean, I've got you. That's what I do is I prop you up right here when I'm doing my computer work and I'm taking care of people. And like I said, I'll have people come in and they'll be like, "Oh, I didn't mean to be nosy on your phone, but is that Steve?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh, I was just watching him." I'm like, "Yeah."
Cool, that's awesome. Heck yeah.
Yeah. So there's definitely, people up here that have heard of you as well.
Oh, cool. Someone just said, Carl Johansson, I live in Branford.
Oh.
There you go. I mean, there honestly are
stop over and see
people
us.
all over the whole world that watch our show like pretty regularly. Like I have people like New Steve from the UK, Baldy from South Africa, like guys that just pop in almost on a daily and are like, "Hey, I'm from wherever, France,
Yeah.
or from Italy, or I'm from Peru, or who knows where, all over the place." It's pretty interesting. I call it like a giant social experiment is what it feels like to me, because you get like all these groups of people together. Some of them get along, some of them don't, and like it just turns into like a giant. It's like a giant blueprint of how a society runs.
Right.
Is what
I
it
feel
really
like it's just on TikTok, it's more like supportive. Everybody is supportive of each other.
Yeah.
You don't have someone going, "Nah, I really don't care what you're doing, so I'm not going to support you." It's either they like you or they don't, and if they don't, they can just move on. Like you said, just move on. If you don't like my content, stop watching me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's it. If you don't like what I'm saying or you don't like what I'm doing, then go away. Go find somebody that you like. There are so many people on here that will like you for who you are and what you're doing that the haters don't matter.
Right.
That's all. That's part of it too. And the more people, the more it's just like society, right? The more friends you have or the bigger your circle is, the more there are going to be those people that maybe don't like you, don't personally, like, "Oh, I see this guy, like whatever he's doing, I'm either jealous or I'm, or whatever it is, or I just don't like him," because not everybody likes everybody, and that's okay.
Right.
Mind that. There are people I don't like as well. You know what I mean?
And and it is. I mean, it's tough. Like being in a small town, running the business the way I do. Like, I changed my hours a little bit because based on what my customers were coming in for.
Sure.
I don't open on Sundays. A bait shop should be open on Sundays, but guess what? Here in town, nothing is open on Sundays and Mondays in this town. The Ace Hardware is closed. Like.
Right.
So why stay open and waste my day that I could be with my family?
That's exactly.
And I had a couple haters say that, and I'm like, you know what? Then use somebody else, or I have to have my family time too.
Absolutely.
My family matters. This is the reason I bought this, was so I could give my family a better life and I could offer them more and more time. I don't want to take away from time from my family.
They could always come in on Saturday afternoon and get their bait too.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I, the more you grow on here, just be careful, because everybody's not always what they appear to be.
Right.
So make sure you take that into account, because there definitely are people that may seem to be one way that are not. You will encounter that, I promise you.
Right. I think once I get it going, and I'll, how to do the whole moderator thing, and set up the subscribers and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I would suggest if you're going to live stream on a daily and your account is going to grow, to, just be careful. Be careful. And don't let it affect your mental health, because it can. Because at the end of the day, like, there are going to be, people that say things about you and just random shit like that I personally take a lot of things to heart that I probably shouldn't. You
Right.
know,
It is. It's hard, especially owning. It's because it's my business. It's my
Yeah.
family. It's my livelihood.
yeah, that's
You
how
know?
I pay my that's how I pay my mortgage. That's how I,
Right.
it is my life. And I've really put myself out there, and I know what's going to happen the more I put myself out there. I know that there will be those things, there will be those people there, but the other side of that is you are going to get the people that really appreciate it as well. You're going to get the messages from people that are like, I enjoy watching you every day. You help me out. You make my life better. You make my kid's life better who's, autistic or whatever it may be. And that really makes it more worthwhile than anything, I believe.
I mean, that's why I'm sitting here with you right now, is because, again, like I said, I found you by accident. Shop was kind of slow. The river was closed at that point, and I was like, I felt defeated, honestly. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, how to keep the business going. And seeing that there was this whole fish talk and all this stuff out there, I'm like, wait a second, okay, maybe I can make something with this. Maybe I can do this. And talking about going to ICAST, looking at new products, doing that stuff. It's like, okay, that gave me another boost of, all right, let's get the shop back together. Let's get some more stuff in here. Let's, maybe I can get saltwater stuff and attract the guys from over there and bring them up here. So, you know what I mean? That's what it's been about for me. It's definitely positive.
Yeah, and that's what it was originally for me. It was just like goofing around. I really didn't see at first a big potential with it. I thought I was just, a few people are going to see me fish and something to do, right? Kind of like a novelty. And the more I did it and the longer I did it, the more it grew. And it is what it is now. I think that it's going to continue to grow like exponentially the more I live stream. And the same thing for anybody that does it. Like the more you do it, I think once you reach a certain point of followers, and you can get those followers to help you at the same time, like share it with their friends and share it with their friends, and your page grows exponentially at some point because of that. So the better, like closer, more helpful community that you can put together, the better for your page and the better for everybody, because then everybody helps everybody.
Right. And like I said, from your page, I've met people now that are local. You're saying they're on there that are in my area and probably didn't know if I existed or what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, half the people, 90% of the people that watched my live stream had no idea that I was out here doing what I'm doing and that I was even a person. I've been doing this for a very long time, like before TikTok. I've been doing TikTok, I guess now for like 2.5 or 3 years or something like that, doing the live streaming thing. And I used to do it a lot more infrequently than I do now. I started out doing it like every once in a while. I'd be like, oh, well, check this out. And then, I'm like, oh, I wonder what those guys are doing today. A couple days later, and I'd live stream for a little bit while we're trolling. And then it just grew into what it is now. It wasn't like something that just happened overnight. It was something that I have really put a lot of time and energy and all the things into.
So how is the agency working now? So how does that work? You want to explain that a little bit, Heather's agency?
That is something that Heather probably needs to explain more than I do. I just know that it is going to basically bring a lot of people together into one group. I am personally going to help her with some of that stuff just on like the Discord and giving people advice on how to grow their accounts and just all the things that I've learned and the things that I am still learning.
Okay.
I get a lot of advice just from my creator manager that I feel like I can share with other people, and they can use some of that advice to grow their account faster and make their account more effective at doing whatever it is they want to do, whether it be more followers or more gifts or more business at their actual business, like you have an actual brick and mortar business. if you want more people to come in there, there's a way to do that.
Okay.
And TikTok is basically a tool. As a business owner, it has been the best advertising tool that I have ever seen. I don't know why more people don't use it. They're afraid of it. I don't know what it is, but it's a way for me to be able to just talk to network with thousands and thousands of people, millions of people even.
Right.
And there's no other way for me to do that without spending, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like if I
So
wanted,
you started out.
if I wanted to people to see my brand as much as they do now prior to TikTok, I would have had to pay for television commercials, radio ads, billboards. Like that's not really in my budget as a small business owner. It never will be, right? I'm not trying to be that giant corporation that can afford those things. Most people cannot, right? Like there's no way I'm going to have a TV commercial during primetime football or something like that, because that is the only way.
Real Deal come across on the airplane and the kiosk.
Yeah, because that's the only way that we actually looked into some of that stuff, like advertising at Rays games and stuff. And I'm like, well, I would have to run, charters for the next 6 months to just afford that. It doesn't make sense to do that.
Yeah.
Grizzly Adam. Yeah, I know, Guru. It's ridiculous. It's really probably propaganda from our own government, unfortunately.
So how did you start off in TikTok shop with your stuff? You just put a couple things that you liked in there and sold it, or did you?
Well, we've had merchandise for a while.
Okay.
We never really sold very much of it, and I think that when I first got the TikTok shop, I think maybe you had to have like 10,000 followers to get it. So when I had like all these goals that I set for myself. So I would see, okay, I need to get to 5,000 followers to be able to do this, right? So I'm like, okay, that's my goal now. I'm going to get 5,000 followers, and I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm going to figure it out. So then I would go live stream, and I would post videos, and I would go hang out in other people's live streams. And I still do that to this day. Like I still go visit all my friends. And not only do I go visit all my friends on here, like if Crappie Guru's live or OB's live or Charlie Hookem or if you're live or whoever it may be, if I have time, which I don't have a lot of time anymore. That is part of it as well. So I've made myself.
I do see you supporting, and if I'm in another live, I'll see you and Heather popping in there. And like I said, that's what's great about the community with you guys, because not only did you have this community, but you're also supporting it.
Right. So I do all those things, and now not only do I do that, but I go find new people as well. Right. So I go find other groups of people while I'm doing that. I'm like, oh, look at this live stream. It looks interesting. Like recently, I ran into a group that I think is
Only Cows.
Only Cows. No, that's not.
Sorry, I'm a big fan.
That was in Ree's live. Like Ree, I found her live.
Yeah.
She's got like her chicken, and I'm like,
Same
oh,
thing.
this is very
Polar
interesting.
opposite of what we would typically watch.
Yeah. So, I'm like, oh, she's like hanging out with her chicken, and I have chickens, and so now we have something in common, right? Something that I can talk to her about. She can talk to, and we have a lot of stuff in common.
So you have chickens? Where did I do that one?
I have 9 chickens right now. One of them got eaten by Casper, but
how do you like them?
that was a little bit traumatic. But so the same thing. So I recently met this group that is led by like Badass Homestead. It's like all these homesteaders, and they have this huge group of people, and they have the same kind of thing that I have going on. They have like a huge Discord, and they have all the things that are in line there for them to put together a good community on TikTok and be able to do all the same things that we're doing. They already have that stuff together, and I like stumble across these people, and I'm like, oh, you guys have been hard at work over here. That's impressive. And then I'm like, well, now we have something in common as well.
Right.
And I start talking to them, and they start talking to me, and they're like, oh, we saw your live stream yesterday, and there were 1,000 people watching. And then they're like, well, what the hell does this guy have that there are 1,000 people at once watching him? You know? And then everybody's intrigued after that, and they're like, you know, they're hooked.
For sure.
Yeah.
It is definitely the way.
And then it makes their community bigger, and it makes my community bigger at the same time. So it's like it's a win-win.
Right.
You know, that's the right way to do it. The right way to do it is to help each other grow. The best playlist around. That's right, Larry Crew. That helps out too.
Yes, it does.
And have backup accounts. Do you have a backup account?
I do. So I originally started out here to do digital marketing. So I tried to jump in that train. Did buy a couple of the courses, which I have to say did help a lot, learning how to do TikTok, how to do Canva, that kind of stuff. As far as like reselling it and like trying to do that, I don't have it in me. It just doesn't seem like something I want to force down somebody's throat, is to rebuy something like that. So I'm trying to rebrand probably that account to have it as a backup for this one.
Yeah, I would suggest having a backup account and try to grow that account so that you have enough people on there just in case something happens to this account, you can go to that account and still live stream.
Okay.
That's important. It's like earlier when we first started this live stream, things like that happen. And sometimes you say things and you don't even realize you say them. And I do that. Or TikTok thinks that you said something, or somebody in your shop says something, or any of those things can happen, and your account can be taken away because of that. But if you at least have a backup account that's ready to go, you have something to fall back on, and you can still, and you have a Discord, and you have like your main group of people together. You can all go out and find everybody again.
Okay.
Right? If you don't have those things, you're going to have to basically start over from the beginning again.
Right. Okay. So, and I think most people, you guys might be following me on the other account too, because I think that's where I started out watching you guys, was from originally over there. So, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I'm just trying to figure out all the little analytics.
Yeah. It's still a secret, even though I say it's a secret account. No, I've actually never once used that account. I just have it. It has one follower in it. But it is a secret account. It's kind of cool.
Am I your one follower?
I think so.
Wait, but the key is, are you following her back?
I doubt it.
Right.
Heck no. I'm not following anyone back on that account.
No.
That's like my burner account. You haven't lived until you get the banana. That's right. She almost did earlier. That would.
I watched yesterday Little Miss Fish, or Miss Little Fish and Little Miss, and they got bananaed, and FWC and the cops ended up showing up.
For what?
One of the people, they were fishing in, I don't know, some inlet, and a couple that was watching them thought he got a dolphin instead of a shark.
And they called the cops.
Yep. The cops and FWC and everything showed up. They had to show him it was the shark and not a dolphin. I'm like, if you live on the water, how do you not know the difference between a dolphin and a shark?
Who called? Someone watching on TikTok called the cops on them?
No, a house. They were watching him from shore. And they called.
Ding dong.
And then somebody reported him, and he got kicked off of live as well.
For catching a shark?
Yep.
And he got booted?
Yeah, I think they booted him because he was bleeding it out.
Yeah.
And somebody's like, I've always seen them do it, and
Well, they're
and I
impressed
said,
about that
but he doesn't want to
concept.
take the chance, and he paused it, and as soon as he paused it and it came back, they ended it.
Yeah, times have changed. Like when I was a young deckhand, I feel like it was not as frowned upon to harvest sharks as it is now. And a lot of people get mad about that now. Like even I don't even keep the daggone things. I just get them up, pet them, and let them go. Sometimes they take the hook with them, and people get pressed about that. So
Right.
I can imagine if you actually brought one on the boat and did all the things to it that you got to do. I mean, I always used to, gut them before I put them on ice, like right on the boat. So if you showed that live, that probably would not go over very well.
Yeah. No, so he was trying not to, like I said, but somebody reported it anyways. I mean, you know how it goes.
The secret backup read. That's funny. Everybody's got secret backup accounts. You're better off having like 5 of them, honestly. I guess Heather doesn't. She could be lying to me, though. I don't know. Guru, I don't care for it. No, I don't keep any of them.
Well,
I
you
haven't
kept
kept.
those few.
Oh, I did. I kept a couple Atlantic sharpnose. The
That
meat,
looked like nice.
yeah, the meat on those things looks nice. I've never actually eaten one, but I hear they're pretty good.
I think Pam said
I
that
didn't
they
really
were
see
good.
anything.
Yeah, I think everybody said that there was really good eating, and that's why they were keeping it last night or yesterday.
I mean, there's a lot better fish to eat than shark. I
I
promise.
almost want to keep sharks nowadays because of the population.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are illegal to keep as well. Like a lot of the shark species that we used to be able to keep are no longer able. You're no longer able to keep them. Tiger sharks, hammerheads, lemon sharks, sandbar sharks, like all the bigger sharks that we used to be able to harvest, you're not allowed to keep them anymore.
Okay. Yeah, and I think
they're-
those are the ones, overfished. And
Well, those are the ones that there are way too many of now.
thanks for the follow. Right, because we protected them, so now I need to flip-flop it
Now
out.
there are so many. There are so many that a lot of days it's hard to get a fish up without it getting eaten by them.
I was going to say that one day it seemed like there was nothing you could do to get rid of those sharks.
I mean, there isn't. Like, you just either move to an area, but the problem is the sharks are the same place as the other fish. So if you move to another area, you're just not going to catch anything. So I'd rather just have to deal with the sharks and catch those and catch the other stuff that we're actually looking for than go to another area where we're not going to catch anything at all.
So do you try to put out like a pole just specifically to catch the sharks then so the others can fish?
Heck no. There's so many of them that doesn't help.
No.
There's more than just one shark. When you catch one, there are a bunch of them. So you're
You're just battling it. There's nothing you can do.
A lot of times maybe they'll be busy with one, like if one guy hooks a fish first, the sharks will try to get that fish, and then the other guys can maybe get a few up like that. But you just got to reel fast.
Hold on a second.
Lighter than the gravy.
Do you have any
Afternoon,
shine?
Branford Bait.
Oh yeah.
How are you?
And then poly bags, and then
I mean,
No, ma'am, they're still out of stock.
200 extra small
I do.
containers.
Yep, I just checked yesterday to try and get them, and I called my guy, and he's supposed to give me a call back by this afternoon to let me know when they plan on getting them back in.
$80 or 100 bags for 18.
Really?
What's up, Pipeline? How's everybody doing
I
today?
don't even think I have the other ones are in there because I gave them to you already. Let me check and see if I have another box or another mod, and then I can give it to you out of there. All right, I'll give you a call back in just a little bit, and I'll let you know. Okay, you're welcome.
Hello.
I'm back. Just a customer looking for some stuff.
DJ.
Red, Tony Red.
Yeah, 'cause you did it when I came back.
These guys want to call your shop.
They want to call a shot.
I bet you.
I'm trying to get you off right here.
Bring it.
I'll take you for a walk.
Nah.
We'll go for a field trip. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna go check on the crickets. You can check on those. They're dying quicker than I can keep them.
The crickets are? Is it because of the heat?
Yeah. The heat, yeah. So you got about 500 in there. We'll keep them in there.
Crickets all the time for bluegill fishing, but I haven't used them in a long time. I can't really find them here. The only place I know of that sells crickets here is PetSmart. So I gotta go to the. Thank you, Adam.
Outside. So this is our little town.
Oh yeah.
We got literally an Ace Hardware down there. There's a tiny little grocery store. We got a pawn shop. We got a Chinese restaurant. Our Swanee Brew.
Is that like a brewery right across the street?
Nope, it's a coffee shop.
Oh, coffee shop.
So
Okay.
one of the coaches that coaches all football helps out with I think they do BMX racing. He owns that. Him and his wife put it together.
Cool.
So, and then if you go to the end of the road down there, that's exactly where the water is.
Cool. Oh
That's the
yeah.
shop. Sandbag still here, waiting for the county to come get those.
So how did water actually get in the shop, or how close was it?
So the water got up to the main brick right here.
Holy cow!
Just because the water comes in off of the road so quick, it washes all the way up in. Yeah.
So it's not actually the river being high that floods it; it's from the road.
The trucks, no. But we had water damage from the roof.
Gotcha.
Came in and kind of buckled all that kind of stuff up there. So got a contractor hopefully coming next
How
week to
high
get
are
that
you guys
fixed.
above like the river level? Like how high would the river have to get for it to fill your water?
Oh, what did I do? So the river crest, the flood stage is 25. The river crested at I think 27, and it made it to the parking lot of the boat ramp. So in order to get here, probably about like 35.
Okay.
So we would need another 4 or 5 feet, just because they built the road, obviously, taller than where the boat ramp is, so.
Or just sit there for a couple days and dump on you.
Yeah. So
Basically, wait.
yeah, so in the very back of my shop, on the back side of, there's a parking lot, and they call it the Greenway. That runs all the way from Live Oak, all the way out to way past Branford, that you can walk it. But the river's right there. So if the river crests, it could potentially come in through the back. So that's what they were worried about, was overflow in the bank by the watermelon plant over there, and then it would come into the river or into the road. So
They grow a ton of watermelons up there, don't they? I've driven through that area before and seen guys like picking watermelons.
it's the craziest thing to watch them. So they take buses and they take all the windows out of the buses.
Uh-huh.
And they got the guys standing in a bus catching the watermelons and the guys in the field throwing them.
Oh yeah.
And I'll go walk out back and I can watch them at the processing plant. They're here too. It's fun. And they're
You
just
get a
slaying them, man. It's like crazy.
Live stream that, 1 million people will watch it.
Right? Right. Somebody did actually, and I went back to try and find it. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Elliot, crickets, I usually sell $5.50 for 100.
Heather, do you remember the watermelon, like the guys that were picking watermelons over by, I think we were in Ocala maybe, or somewhere over that way? Remember that? Like last year on the way to Cincinnati?
This, what, guys throwing water on it?
No, picking watermelons. Like they had buses and like,
Oh, I do remember the buses.
yeah. She
Yeah,
doesn't
that's one of
remember.
those things we gotta be careful on when you're driving down the damn road and watermelon comes flying out at you.
Yeah, you don't want that hitting your windshield.
No.
That would be something.
Yeah. No, but it's nice because, I mean, $5, you're getting a watermelon. I call them dirty dancing watermelons.
So are all those watermelons, are they seedless or do they have seeds in them?
They grow both.
They have to grow both, right?
Yep.
So you have to have a field of seeded watermelons in order to get a field of non-seeded watermelons.
I believe so, because again, they're that JMO that they run here. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing.
mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
the variety
I call 'em-
with no seeds in it has to have the variety with seeds in order to be pollinated.
Right. So, like I said, the ones with the seeds, you'll get them as big as you can get around. Then the
Oh, yeah.
seedless ones will come about real big like this.
Right.
So I said they sell them over here at the corner at the actual weigh station. So we usually swing in there at least once a week and grab them right out of the pallets for the about 6 weeks that they do it.
Oh my gosh, if your boys are anything like mine, they will destroy a watermelon in about half a second. I just cut one up this morning. They were like begging me to cut this watermelon up before school.
Yep. So when we go boating, we actually take our scallop bag and we hang the scallop bag off of the side of the boat with the watermelon in it because the springs are 72 degrees, so it cools off the watermelon for us.
Nice. Heck yeah. That's smart.
Yep. And just take it back on the boat, smash it up, and hand out pieces.
Heck yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Do you put salt on your watermelon?
I do.
Do you? My grandparents used to do that. I prefer it to be not salty.
If it's super sweet, I like it with the salt because it gives you that, that tang difference.
Yeah.
But it just depends. If you're
Gotcha.
putting it in a drink, maybe a little bit on top, give that salted rim on there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's like some watermelon sangria. Actually, my newest adventure is going to be my sister has muscadine grapes. So we just picked about 5 pounds of muscadine grapes on Sunday. So we're going to give it a go of making some muscadine jam and some wine.
Muscadine wine.
Cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That'll be
So-
fun. So do you have to like do you like walk on the muscadine grape to like smash
You're going to have
them?
to
Like,
smash them. Yeah. Going to have to do
is that how you
something.
do it?
I don't know if I'm going to walk on them.
Like that's how they do it in California, right? They get like
Right.
they get back and they just walk on
I mean,
them.
like I Love Lucy, stomping on
Yeah.
the grapes with my dress. Hey, there's a TikTok right there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tic-tac-toe.
Get violated for health
You know, I
stuff.
don't like the watermelons that don't have seeds in them. They don't taste the same.
They're
Have
not
you ever
as sweet.
They're not as sweet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's not just me. That's good.
No, I think it has something to do with either the seeds or if it's the rind, the way that they grow.
Yeah. It's almost impossible anymore to find watermelons around here that actually have seeds in them.
Yeah.
Like you can't find them at the grocery store here. Every single watermelon's seedless.
Yeah, unless
So
you
it's-
get them, like I said, from the plant. Typically, town always sells just the seedless as well.
So what do they do with all the seeded watermelons now? Because they still have to grow them. So where do they all
they
go?
sell them. They up north.
They do?
Mhm.
The people up north
Oh.
still eat seeded watermelons?
I'm assuming because that's where most of them seem like they're going. I mean,
Oh.
the road
Yankees
that I just showed y'all, usually during watermelon season, there's 20 semis parked out on the road.
I mean, they must go somewhere. 3 watermelons. My heart attack, Wendy Day.
Oh.
I like some watermelon though. That's good. The best watermelon that I have had as an adult was in Cuba.
Really?
And they don't have any like GMO food or anything down there. It's all like natural, how it's supposed to be. And the watermelon I had there was the sweetest watermelon I've had since I was a little kid.
Wow. And it had seeds in it?
It did have seeds. Yeah, they don't have any like unnatural shit growing down there like we do. We're like, Oh, can we grow this thing with no seeds in it? Let's go. It's got to be better.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes the cleanup a lot easier. Like, there aren't seeds everywhere. But it's not natural to have a plant without seeds. It doesn't seem right.
Yeah. So our watermelons are down and corn's growing now.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah. Where are you going?
Out of nowhere.
Keep an eye on her.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what she's up to. Actually, I do know what she's up to. She's trying to look at the place next door. I think maybe someone's either moving out
I
or...
hope so.
I doubt it, though. Didn't they just get in there?
Maybe they hate it.
I think they hate
The
it.
neighbors are too loud.
Us. Probably. They're like, what is that guy talking about over there? All day long.
Just going and going.
We have been on here for 2 hours. I didn't even realize it's noon already.
Oh yeah, wow.
Pretty good. I have a
That's
plumber coming to my house today between 1 and 3. So
Okay.
I have 2 faucets, like outside, like hose bibs that are leaking, and my kitchen sink is clogged up. So I have a plumber coming to take care of that. And I got to clean out my garage. Can't wait for
You're
that.
getting all this honeydew stuff done this week, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yep. I have, I've just been so busy all summer. I really haven't had much of a chance to mess with any of that stuff. It's hard to do when you don't, like, sleep, really.
Right, well you gotta take it while you can, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah. I did. I got my canopy up today. I did that this morning. Like, that's why I was 2 minutes late to this.
So when's your next charter out?
Tomorrow morning. We're headed out at 7 a.m. tomorrow. I have a half day. We'll be out from 7 to 11, I believe. Hopefully we're just going to troll the whole time. Maybe we'll try for a barracuda or something like that. Are you uploading videos?
So when you
But
do
yeah,
a
it
half
should
day
be fun.
charter, then you don't go all the way out to the 50 miles, right? You don't go to the ledge.
It would take the whole trip just to get there.
Right, right.
No, we'll probably be around 10 or 12 miles. And if they want a bottom fish, we'll just go anchor up around 10 or 12 miles.
I said we should do lunch.
Yes.
Did you see that Tesla truck ship that somebody posted out there that apparently the U.S. Army was out there? Or the Navy was. Yeah, it looks like a Tesla truck. I've never seen a ship like it before. Somebody posted it on TikTok yesterday.
I've seen those ships before. They sit up there in Mobile Bay. I've seen them there. I think they build them there.
Okay.
And they're some sort of stealth technology battleships.
Right, right. There was somebody that was on there and said that they kept seeing what it was and it started following them. Finally, they got on the radio and said, "You better exit the area. We're getting ready to start live combat training in 30 minutes."
Yeah, they do look like a Tesla truck just because they have all, like, weird angles of metal on them.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting. I think my brother-in-law works on some of the radar technology for those things.
Very cool.
You're not listening.
Well, I don't know what kind of technology he's working on. I just know that that's what he does. He's an electrical engineer. He works for somebody, Lockheed, right? Lockheed Martin?
Yeah.
So they develop radar and LiDAR technology. Okay, Kayla, well, it has been fun.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to probably get off. Maybe we'll just end our little podcast. It's been a couple hours. It was a pleasure talking.
It was good. Thank you. I appreciate you bringing me on and having the conversation with you.
Absolutely. Your bait shop
Great.
looks awesome.
Thank you.
You're an inspiration. I want to open a bait shop too. So now I feel like maybe I will be able to do it. I'm going to call you a bunch for advice though. So
Awesome. For sure. Absolutely. Every
Okay,
day
it was
is a learning
talking
lesson.
with you. Absolutely. Have a great day.
All right, you too, Steve. Thanks. Bye, everyone.